All right, welcome back to the channel. Terence Bud Crawford says he wants to move up to 160 pounds after this fight. Also going to talk about an interview that he had with Andre Ward. This is a request from a subscriber, that portion of this video. So stay tuned and let's talk about it in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Also, click right down here to join the member if you're a member of the LDBC so you can help. And I so much appreciate your help supporting this channel and the boxer that we sponsor and the different things we do with the channel. Also, thank you so much to the Patreon community. We got a new video up there today. Also, thank you so much to everybody that supports the live streams. Make sure you come on Sunday for OG Boxing Talk with myself, Blood Boxing, KQKC Boxing, Trap House Boxing, and the boxing historian, Curtis Anderson. All right, man, let's talk about Bud. Bud is an interesting man. He's an interesting guy for me. And really hard for me to settle on what it is exactly that I think about him. Because in the ring, he is an absolutely terrific fighter. His mentality is, he's got a killer mentality. He's got a great skill set. He's accomplished a lot in the sport of boxing. I think the guy's in his prime. I think he's completely focused on the sport of boxing. All the type of things that, you know, contribute to a great champion. He's going to be fighting Egis Kalvanakis this weekend coming up. I've been trying to do as many videos as I can about Terence Crawford, just keeping the conversation fresh because I'm really looking forward to this fight. On the undercard is another great fight that I'm looking forward to, which is Richard Comey and Teofimo Lopez, but we'll talk about that in other videos throughout the week in the lead up to that. But in doing this, I'm listening and getting ready for this fight with Terence Crawford and Egis Kalvanakis. I'm watching the press conference, and I watched a video interview on ESPN's YouTube channel, but with Andre Ward interviewing Terence Crawford. And I don't know if it's the editing of that video and the way that they put it together, but Terence Crawford just seems to me to be a guy that rightfully is upset and believes that he is not getting the credit that he's due in his career. But at the same time, I think he's a little bit stubborn or extremely stubborn and not willing to look at the problem for what the problem really is. Now, first things first. He says that after Egis Kalvanakis, who he's not overlooking, and I don't believe that Terence Crawford would overlook Egis Kalvanakis, he says he wants to move to 160 pounds, right? Now, obviously, the reason he wants to move up to 160 pounds is he wants to get titles at 160 pounds. The title holders at 160 pounds are Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, Demetrius Andrade, and Jermall Charlo. I don't know why Terence Crawford would fight any of those guys. If Terence Crawford moves up to 160 pounds and fights and beats Jermall Charlo, and anybody says this guy's not the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, that would be absolutely bananas. If he moved up and fought Demetrius Andrade and beat Demetrius Andrade for a 160-pound title, for the WBO 160-pound title, if anybody said this guy is not the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, that would be absolutely bananas. Same thing for Gennady Golovkin, same thing for Canelo Alvarez, because this is a guy that started at 135 pounds, moving up to 160 pounds. That is 135, 140, 147, 154, up to 160. That is a weight span of 6 weight classes, but it's also a span of 25 pounds. And giving up more natural size in the ring if he's fighting a larger 160 pounder. Now, the thought of him actually doing that, I don't see how that gets him in any better situation than where he is at 160. How do we know he's going to be able to get a fight with Gennady Golovkin? How do we know Gennady Golovkin is going to turn around and fight Terence Crawford? or Canelo Alvarez is going to fight Terence Crawford. And how is it any easier to make a fight between Jermall Charlo and Terence Crawford than it is to make a fight between Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford? I just don't get the move. I don't see what there is to gain for. I see what there is to gain as far as his respect in the boxing world and challenging himself and getting championships. But I don't see how, if he was considered a legitimate threat up there at 160 pounds, why any of those guys would bite on him any more than anybody would bite on him at 147, unless they just figured, oh well, he's so small we can just go through him. I don't see it. I would see, if he was going to go somewhere, go to 154. You got J-Rock at 154. You're giving up a lot less weight at 154. There's 2 belts available there at 154. There could be 3 belts there at 154. Also, the WBO 154-pound championship is right there. That's going to be his for the taking anyway. But he will wind up in the same situation at 154 as he was at 147. So, do I believe that Terence Crawford could actually do this and succeed at 154 and 160? I'll put it this way. If there's anybody in the welterweight division that can, along with Errol Spence Jr., it's Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford has that type of skill set. The danger for Terence Crawford up at 160 pounds is Terence Crawford got a lot of fight in him. He's got a lot of dog in him, and he likes to fight a little more than he has to. And we've seen him get a little wobbly-legged against Yuriorkis Gamboa. Man, you don't want to get caught like that against Jermall Charlo. But I will tell you the one guy at 160 that Terence Crawford needs to stay away from. Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo will batter him. Just my opinion. Jermall Charlo will batter him. I don't even believe that's a close fight between Terence Crawford and Jermall Charlo. I think Jermall Charlo will stop Terence Crawford. And that would but if Terence Crawford could get through that one, hey man, whoo, you got me, you proved me wrong. Now, as far as the interview and what happened in the interview, look man, this is where I'm saying Terence Crawford is a guy that seems like he's just not accepting what the problem is, man. The problem is not that, and Andre Ward asked him a lot of questions. Asked him, should you should you do the whole bling thing, run around talking, try to impersonate Floyd Mayweather Jr.? Should you be in people's faces, go at Errol Spence Jr. and get in his face? Which, by the way, Terence Crawford did do with Errol Spence Jr. I think maybe Andre Ward forgot about that particular incident. But all of these different things that Terence Crawford can do won't matter. Well, none of it will matter. Because the most important thing, the thing that's holding Terence Crawford back from having that last pay-per-view promoted properly and having the focus really be put on selling Terence Crawford is that the people around Terence Crawford don't believe in him. The people around Terence Crawford and that are associated, the media mechanisms that are typically promote or help push top-ranked fights don't want to push Terence Crawford. It doesn't matter to them whether or not Terence Crawford actually sells more tickets than Vasily Lomachenko or actually gets more views than Vasily Lomachenko does. They don't want to promote Terence Crawford the way that they promote Vasily Lomachenko. That's not their desire. That's not their intention. That's not their plan. And since it's not their intention, it's not their desire, and it's not their plan, then they're not going to accomplish that. Terence Crawford in his interview said, hey, I didn't like the way that the pay-per-view with Amir Khan was handled, but hey, it was their first pay-per-view. No, it wasn't. That is far, unless you're talking about ESPN specifically, which it wasn't. ESPN has had pay-per-views before, but it's definitely not Top Rank's first pay-per-view. Top Rank knows how to market pay-per-views. They've had a bunch of pay-per-views. They just don't want to invest the resources necessary to really push that fight because they don't believe in Terence Crawford. The difference between the people over there in the PBC and the people in Top Rank is that the people over there in PBC actually believe in Errol Spence Jr. They actually believe that he can be a star. The people in Fox and the PBC believe that Deontay Wilder can be a star. They want him to be a star. That's not the case with Top Rank. Top Rank wants Vasily Lomachenko to be the star, which is why that one of the things that Terence Crawford was really irritated about with the press was when he said that in 2017, or was it, yeah, it was 2017, that Vasily Lomachenko got Fighter of the Year, even though Terence Crawford unified. Well, who voted for that? Who voted for that? That's the Boxing Writers Association of America. They have people, the Boxing Writers Association of America have journalists that work for both Ring and ESPN. And Bob Arum put the Guillermo Rigondeaux fight on a specific, I think it was December 6th, somewhere around there, and specifically picked that date so that Vasily Lomachenko could fight in New York the same time as the conference of the Boxing Writers Association of America. Bob Arum went out of his way to schedule the fight in order to promote Vasily Lomachenko to the boxing writers. And that's how they turned around and gave that guy that award. Because Bob Arum and Terence Crawford's own promotional company decided that they wanted that guy, Lomachenko, to get that award, not Terence Crawford. How would the media, and you can't blame the media if your own promoter doesn't believe in you, but says that you're his second best fighter or his third best fighter? Why would they believe, why would they push you when your own promoter won't push you? And then Terence Crawford said something about Bob Arum ultimately works for him. That is not true. That is not true. Bob, you work for Bob Arum. Because Bob Arum has enough fighters where if he can't come to an agreement with you to fight, he's still going to eat. If you don't come to an agreement with him to fight, you can't fight. That whole the promoter works for you stuff is just not, as a practical matter, is not true. When you have a promoter with so many other options and so many other income streams that they don't need you. And you need them more than they need you, because you're locked into your contract and you can't fight for somebody else. So as soon as you guys get into a disagreement, he can just go on about earning his money from his boxing program. Top Rank's not going to shut down because Terence Crawford's not fighting. But if Top Rank doesn't make a fight, Terence Crawford shuts down. That's just a fundamental misunderstanding of the relationship between him and Bob Arum. And that's what I'm saying, man. He's a great, great fighter, but sometimes it just sounds to me as if he doesn't see the world for what it really is, sees how he wants it to be, but not how it really is. The problem isn't the PBC. The problem is his own promotional company, and it always has been. Let me know what you think in the comment section. With that, I'm out. Peace.